Hello, I'd like to take time to thank you for watching this YouTube clip. It's my very first one, so it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be an opportunity for me to share a little bit about my passion about health and nutrition. One thing I'd like to share with you today is an article that I wrote about 2 years ago that I call The Big Fat Lie. And I call it The Big Fat Lie because about 5 years ago I had a really bad car accident and I ended up with a concussion. A byproduct of the concussion was less brain function, and it was very concerning to me. So I did a lot of research and I found some information that would actually facilitate increasing the blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, which is the front of the brain, by 25%, and it actually taught me which foods shut down that blood flow, that 25%, and omitting those certain foods would increase that blood flow by 25%. And I thought to myself, if this is going to help me, I'm going to do it. So I went on a 2-week vacation to Cabo San Lucas to an all-inclusive resort, and I stuck by the principles of this eating program to see how it would work. My philosophy is if it works for me, I will share it with my clients. If it doesn't work for me, I certainly won't share it or endorse it with my clients. So I had 2 weeks at the resort, all-inclusive, and I just made sure to stick by this recommendation to avoid these certain foods that actually reduce the blood flow to the prefrontal cortex by the 25%. By the time the 2 weeks was over, I had lost 18 pounds. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I felt much stronger, and I definitely noticed that there was a huge difference with my cognition, my ability to think and do things that I needed to do in my business. So I then started to share the information with some of my clients that wanted to lose weight. And I've had a number of clients lose over 80 pounds without dieting, without having to over-exercise, without having to buy all these packaged programs and these packaged foods that you have to pay hundreds of dollars for, and at the end of the day just makes you dependent on them. So when I understood how effective it is and how well it worked for me, I then decided to become a certified nutritional therapist with the Nutritional Therapy Association in the States. The training was 1 year long, and that allowed me to feel confident in sharing my information. So if you're struggling with weight loss, anxiety, depression, all sorts of different things, often if we can get our food and our blood sugar in line, we naturally feel better. Our body finds its own natural healthy weight, and we're no longer struggling with the extra weight and the frustration and the mood swings that come from eating foods that actually deregulate the brain. So I'm going to read this article that I wrote to you as a viewer, and if you have any questions, please feel free to share them. And again, it's my very first YouTube video, so I'm just giving myself kudos for doing it. So I call the article The Big Fat Lie. In the last 25 years of my life, I have been exposed to many concepts about health and weight loss. In a nutshell, we as a human race have been lied to at our expense in corporate interest gains. Believe it or not, the education system was set up in the 1800s to keep the slaves' children busy so they could get more time out of the slaves, and that was what birthed our education system. So essentially we're taught what corporate interests want us to know, not always what's in our best interest, but it's in the best interest of keeping us in line. It's pretty sad, but it seems to be quite true. Yes, we have learned to follow what is considered mainstream and wonder why we can't lose weight. We blame our age, our thyroid, our lack of discipline, and last but not least, we forget to blame our source of knowledge. If you are following Canada's food guide, you have been lied to. I got into the fitness industry when I was 18 years old to learn about health. Most of what I was taught left me confused and very conflicted as to what to eat to be healthy. I love animals, so I became a vegetarian, vowing never to eat meat again. At that time, I was working out 3 to 4 hours a day, teaching fitness classes. And I stuck to my vegetarian commitment because I believed in it. I thought it was the right thing to do. And over a short period of time, I gained 35 to 40 pounds of pure fat. I was absolutely confused, didn't understand what was wrong, and I was very, very distressed. I eventually ended up with an eating disorder that later on I could link directly to the vegetarianism, because vegetarianism doesn't give your body the building blocks it needs. So my body would actually wake me up in the middle of the night, and I would eat huge amounts of food while I was asleep, and then wake up in the morning with a very, very sick stomach. And that went on for years. And again, here I am sharing what my story is. So I discovered that through being a vegetarian, I was unknowingly programming my body to store fat, not to burn fat. And it was directly related to my diet. And those were tough years. Years passed. I still kept looking for a remedy, and today I've found the truth to health and eating, for true health, for weight loss, for hormonal health, for brain health, and energy. I actually feel like I'm 23 again. And by the way, I'm almost 50. It's all about the foods that we were meant to eat in the first place. It's about going back to nature. It's about common sense. We are taught and encouraged to eat foods that make us fat, depressed, and addictive, so huge companies can make billions and billions off of our blind trust and off of our ill health. And this, unfortunately, is the way of the world, making money off people's backs, and it makes my blood boil. I see the effects of these common eating practices everywhere. Things like obesity, depression, autoimmune disease, anxiety, depression, suicide. When someone is ready to take their power and their mind back, I will help them back to health through factual-based education. This is important for the quality of our life. This is important for our children. It's important for our future. It's important for our great-great-grandchildren that are to come. Essentially, if you suffer with skin problems, energy problems, a big midsection, having a difficult time losing weight, then you are unable to burn fat. And that is usually directly related to food and the food choices that you select. Results need to start in the kitchen, and exercise will not and cannot fix imbalanced eating or a deregulated brain. I can show you how to be a fat burner for life with real brain-body-based science and get real results. You just have to want results more than you want your comfort zone. If you can change, what will happen to you? Will you be happier? Will you have more energy? Will you have more vitality? Will you feel better about yourself? Will you be able to take the energy and the time that you use to be obsessed with losing weight and beating yourself up and use that to have a better life? I would think so. The answers truly are obvious. I see other very competent personal trainers selling packaged programs such as Isogenics and other weight loss programs as their secret weight loss strategy for their clients. And to be honest, if that's the best that they can do for their customers, that's very unfortunate for their customers, because essentially it forces the client to spend $400 a month on packaged food, which is great for a period of time, but at some point that doesn't make sense. It's not ecological, it's not healthy, and it's not appropriate. It creates dependence. What I can teach you to do is go anywhere at any time and still be able to stay in line with keeping your blood sugar balanced and keeping your brain function high, just through some very, very simple modifications to how you look at food and what your body actually needs. So I'm wanting to avoid dependence. I'm wanting to create independence and intelligence and support. What I'd like to do is encourage you, if you want to learn how to reduce body fat without dieting, reduce abdominal fat without doing tons and tons of cardio, and become a fat burner and understand what the difference is, I'm going to encourage you to like the video for sure and contact me if you have questions. Most people don't know, I'm just going to show you something, that 5 pounds of fat actually takes up this much space. And most of us would love to be able to take that 5 pounds off. This takes up this much space. It's quite a lot of mass. Most people don't realize that over the next 4 months they put on this 3 to 4 times over the winter because they get sick, because they're not feeling well, because they're pushing themselves too hard. They're using stimulants like Red Bulls and coffee to get through the fatigue. They're powering down with all this sugar to try to help them get the energy to go through something. And essentially, you can only betray your body and Mother Nature for a period of time, and then it blows out. So I'm here to offer ways that are natural, that are holistic, that are nourishing to bring you back to health and to help you if you want to lose 5 pounds or 50 pounds or 80 pounds. It's possible without spending a fortune. Thank you. This is Germana Rovinelli from Heart Consulting. Thank you.